Hello, Nina.
Hey, Steph, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited about our topic today.
Yes, this is one that is so good, very valuable, but yet we get pushback from time to time on this topic.
Right, yeah. And honestly, when you first suggested it, there's parts of it I was like, I don't know. But after looking at the stats, I'm like, oh, wait. Yeah, there's kind of a point.
Absolutely. So email marketing and physical mailers is what we will be speaking about today. Yes. They can go hand in hand very well, and I think physical mailers led into email marketing, so we thought, let's cover these topics together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's some great value in this. To start out, to show you how important email marketing is, we are going to share some stats with you. Now, we are using our phones today for notes because we wanted to make sure the stats were accurate and to really...
Yeah, we're very stat heavy today, so...
Yes, very stat heavy.
We got the numbers on deck.
Because we are met with such resistance. When I suggest email marketing to someone...
Well, I mean, if Stephanie's being completely honest, the resistance was me. I was like, I don't know about that. And then she was like, well, no, look. Because she's very passionate about email marketing, and I'll give that to her. But, when she said the mailers, I was like, I hate getting mail. And she's like, but...
You thought you hated getting mail, but then you really self-evaluated.
Right, yeah.
Because tell them about what you did.
So I moved at the beginning of the year, and I, of course, set up mail forwarding, because I'm an adult. And after a month or so, I was like, man, I don't know if my mail forwarding worked. And I redid it. I paid the $1 again. Mm-hmm. And I realized, no, it worked. I just haven't gotten much mail,
Yeah, but she was missing it. So I was like, see? Yeah, but she was a little resistant to the topic.
Right. And then after looking at the stats,
we
changed my tune.
We really dug into some data on this, and I'm excited to share it with you. And hopefully I can change your mind and you can make a way in your business. So let's look at them. Email is the number one communication channel. At least 99% of consumers check their email on a daily basis, and that cannot be said for any other type of communication channel. Crazy, right. Crazy good. The average person on Instagram only 2 to 5% of people see your content on Instagram. So crazy good number right there.
And email has been around for a while, and because it stands for electronic mail, email actually came out before the internet. And since the internet was released, they've been using email since, I think Hotmail was the first email account, and that came out in 1991. And people are still using Hotmail. I am those people. I have a Hotmail account. It's mostly spam these days, but I check it. I get emails there. So
I have AOL. I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, I have Gmail as well. I need to clarify, but I do have an AOL account.
No, when I was doing some research for this and I saw that it was Hotmail, I was like,
OG in the house.
Right, because some people, when I give them my email address, I've gotten some people oh my God, you have a Hotmail, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
You should start responding like, OG baby, you don't know about that life.
Exactly. I am now. I didn't realize I was the first one. I was
revolutionary.
Yes, that's me, revolutionary with my Hotmail account.
For sure. So the next thing is email converts better. People who buy products marketed through email spend 138% more than those who do not receive email offers. And email marketing has an average of 4,400% return on investment. So for every dollar you spend, you can make about $43. That is crazy good amount. Now, obviously, there's some work into that number.
Right, yeah, and that's, it's an average, but...
Yeah, you're not going to just send out an email and get that. There's definitely some work, and we're going to speak into that.
Right, but that potential is there, and that's what's really exciting to see.
Right, and that number is across multiple channels. If you look at HubSpot or just Forbes had that same stat. So there's just many websites that produce that same stat. 79% of marketers list email marketing as their top 3 most effective marketing channel. That's from HubSpot. And
there's a 21% average open rate for real estate agents.
Which we're going to speak into how to get that higher. You can for sure get that higher. 21% is great, especially when I'm telling you only 3 to 5%, depending on the study you read, of people see your Instagram account or Facebook. We can get that up from 21%. We're going to dive into that a little bit later. So let's look at physical mailers, some stats on that. We're going to kind of breeze through them so we can get to the meat and potatoes. Direct mailers make up almost 20% of modern day marketing budgets. People find it valuable. There's a reason that places still do it. When you see 20% of people are allocating that much budget,
Right.
it's because it works.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Nina and I, we talk about this from time to time. We're never going to have or say never, yes, we should dream, but we don't have the budget as some of your giant marketing agencies that are in California and New York have. So sometimes we have to look at them and do it in our authentic way, but mimic some of the things they're doing because they have data behind them that tells them that works.
Right. We kind of piggyback off their market research a little bit.
Right, because we don't have the resources or the budget to have that same data.
But we do have practical sense, and we can see what's working for them works. So.
Right. So we will look at them and go, well, they're doing this or they've started to move towards this. Let's look into the shift they're making. The same when it goes to mailers. There's a reason people still do them because they work. It actually, the response rate has increased over the past 10 years. And Nina and I had a great conversation about this. And we firmly believe it's because back in like the 90s when we were kids, those mailboxes were stuffed full. I mean,
because that was the main way to communicate. You'd get all your bills through the mail. Everything was sent through the mail. Birthday cards, letters. Because in the 90s, even though email and internet was a thing, it wasn't in every household. I distinctly remember actually Stephanie. I remember she was frustrated because I think you could have typed a paper, but you were sitting at our dining room table with whiteout and doing it with a pen because you were trying to write this essay. Because even we just didn't have a computer in the 90s.
Right. So back then you got a lot of mail. Well, now that's kind of started to phase out. In the early 2000s, people went to more digital, electronic. Well, because there's this open space or open void left, mail has made a resurgence over the last 10 years, physical mail, I should say. So let's read the return rate on that. It's a 2 to 5% return rate is about the average for direct mail marketing. That means you can expect around 2 purchases or responses per 100 mailers with a standard campaign. That is far better than any other marketing channel except email marketing. So that outbeats social media, Google currently. Isn't that crazy that physical mailers beat out those numbers?
Right, yeah. Because you would think that if it's just like junk mail, people would just toss it. But
speaking on junk mail, Nina was saying she doesn't like mail, which we've decided isn't true.
I do like mail, apparently.
But her generation, she's in her 20s, actually is a very big consumer of physical mail. They are, from time to time, will feel themselves burnt out on electronics, and they crave to get that physical mail. They will read it over and over.
Right. Actually, now that we're having this conversation, I just remembered last year I was living with a roommate who was quite a bit younger than me. I think she had just maybe turned 21 at the time, and she had bought her first car, and she started to get mail sent to the house, and it was legit. It was just a bunch of credit card offers and stuff like that. She had financed a car for something for the first time, and I remember her being so stoked that she was getting stuff in the mail because we would have our piles, and she would start to get mail in her pile, and she loved it. And I'm like, girl, you're throwing that stuff away.
Yeah, but people don't. They will let it sit on their counter for a month and walk by and see that advertisement consistently. Right. Whereas on social media, when you scroll, it's off. It's gone. Right. I have left mailers on my counter, even in my age bracket, which is mid to late 30s, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to read that later. I'm going to read that later. And while I might not stop to read it every time, it is laying on my counter and I visually see it.
Right. It's you see it. Because there's been times on social media that I'll see something, I think that I don't want to look at it again, and I scroll past it. Or even I'll like something and think that I can come back to it, and then I can't find it. But that rarely happens with the mail.
Physical mail, for sure. Studies show that consumers also don't waste any time opening their mail. They check it at the mailbox, in the driveway, right there at the P.O. box. They want to consume your mail immediately, which is pretty incredible because even with email marketing, which has a fantastic return on investment, how many times do you go, oh, I'm going to go back and read that email. I'm going to look at that email later, and you never get back to it. You forget it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. I felt like I had something in my throat. And according to postcardmania.com, 87% of people consider mail to be believable compared to 48% for email, which I thought was crazy. I guess they feel if you're going to spend, because it is a very big financial investment, if you're going to spend the financial investment, you're going to tell the truth, I guess.
Right. I mean, it's definitely cheaper to just type up an email and send it out. So scam artists probably wouldn't. It's easier to invest in email. Maybe that's where it happens. I don't know.
Okay. Goodness, I am struggling today. So let's jump in. Let's talk about physical mailers in your business and how you can use them and what this should look like in a practical sense. most people have heard of farming. It's a very common term in real estate. You're going to pick an area. You're going to send out mailers. You're going to focus heavily on that area to try to get real estate customers, whether it be buyers or sellers. And we want to speak into your farming efforts a little because we don't want you to throw your money to waste when it comes to sending these mailers out because it can be quite expensive.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So let's say you decide you're going to pick an area to market and you're going big.
Because when you're farming, what are the things, because you used to work in real estate, you were an active real estate agent. What were the things that you looked at when you were picking where to farm a location? Or like what were your criteria for?
That I could easily get to it because it's more than just a mailer. A mailer is not going to bring you in droves and droves of customers. It's a part of a puzzle that supports your efforts.
Okay.
So was I going to be easily able to show up in those rooms and be in that community? While I would love to have sold homes in an area where the average price point is $2 to $5 million, I didn't have the money to go join the country clubs in those areas or dine at the restaurants that those people dine at to get in front of them. I couldn't attend those networking events because I didn't have that disposable income. Mm-hmm. So I picked farming areas that I could show up and be present in. Of course, everyone wants to sell $3 million homes. I think that would be a given. But if you cannot participate in the events in those communities due to proximity to you, finances for you, then you really should consider an area that you're already present in.
Okay.
So that's kind of, we were talking about this the other day, like if you were going to pick San Marco, for example, mm-hmm. you need to be able to take your kids to the park in San Marco, dine in San Marco restaurants, things like that, hang out in those kind of areas. So very important once you pick out your area that you're going to farm.
And you can also do it based on household size, their income, age. So if you want to do like first-time home buyers or people like older,
for sure,
you can filter all that stuff in.
Yeah, whenever you're going to go send out these mailers, you can do it a couple different ways. So you've decided your area you're going to farm, and then you're going to mail them something. How do you actually mail them something? There's a couple different ways. You can go and use the USPS Everyday Direct Mailer program. There are very strict parameters for this, and Nina and I will speak into this.
Oh, yeah. We know someone recently that had designed all these mailers for themselves, and they didn't postcards, yeah, and they didn't meet the exact size parameters that they needed. Am I saying this correctly?
Yeah.
And so she wasn't able to use them as mailers. She was able to pivot, and she passed them out at like a in-person event.
But there was 5,000 of them that she was not able to send out because she did not follow the Everyday Direct Mailer guidelines. And so whenever you decide your farming area and then you've picked your medium that you're going to send out, and let's say you use the EDDM program, make sure you go to their website. Even go to your post office if you need clarification, or call them. Yeah. That can be a very expensive mistake to make.
Right, absolutely.
Another option, if you don't want to use EDDM to send out your postcards, is you can use a website like postcardmania.com. There are several websites that do the things they do, but theirs is pretty incredible and I guess revolutionary in this sense that not only will they send out postcards for you, like they will handle everything. You tell them the areas you want to target, what demographics you're looking for, they will handle all of that. And then if your budget allows for, they will then go in and run targeted ads on Instagram, Google, and Facebook to those people. So you can add in another touch point. So let's say you pick an area, you put a QR code on it, they receive a postcard from you, they go to that QR code, then put a tracking in is what this Postcard Mania will do, and then they can retarget them with ads. Retargeting is very effective because it's typically considered a warm audience. It's not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to marketing. Some people feel creeped out by doing targeted marketing. But Dillard's, Pepsi, any big box, they're retargeting you. So I'd say don't feel bad about that if that's what you're going to do within your business. We don't run retargeting ads currently due to price right now, but it is the way to go in the sense that they're a warm lead for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we move into the actual layout of your postcard, I want to read a study that Postcard Mania put up on their website a case study, and this is true. So what you're about to hear
these
is
are real people.
Real people. You can go to their website. We can provide a link at the bottom of the podcast. All right. It was two ladies named Beth Cook and Beth Smith, and they're real estate brokers who own Exit Town and Lake Realty. They wanted to get more quality leads, so they decided to try direct mail, and they used Postcard Mania to do it. Postcard Mania went in and designed them a postcard with great photos, great messaging, precise messaging, and a direct call to action. They sent out 17,512 postcards to their own list of contacts. So they did not want Postcard Mania to come up with a list for them based on demographics. They had their own list.
Yeah, they had their own farm already ready.
Right. So I want to speak into that a little bit. That means their leads might have been a little warmer when you hear these numbers, but it worked regardless.
Right.
Each mailing included 5,188 pieces. Therefore, those 17,000 they sent out were not sent out all at one time. It was
it wasn't one big batch of 17,000.
Right. They broke it down to 5,188, and it was a campaign they ran over time. As a result, they received 12 responses, and they converted all 12 of them, which I thought was incredible to their efforts of conversion.
Right. And but also too, I mean, it could be a testament to the mailers. You know, you're going to get contacts by hot leads that want, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And they made $90,000 in revenue. Their investment in the direct mail campaign was a lot, so we want to speak into that. They spent $8,311. So their return on investment comes out to 983%, which is incredibly impressive.
Right. But also remember that was a lot of mailers. You don't have to send out 5,000 each time, you know.
Right. And let's say your budget only allows for 5,000 total. I would not go send out just 5,000 emails. I mean, mailers, I'm sorry.
I would one big swoop.
No. I would get my list down to 1,000 or maybe 1,200 or 1,300 and send those 1,200 or 1,300 people multiple pieces of mail. You've got to nurture this relationship. A one-time mailer is probably not going to work. You're going to call me up and be like, we did what you said. We went to Postcard Mania or EDDM and sent this out. Mm-hmm. It didn't work. It will work, but it's going to take some consistency. So if your budget doesn't allow for that 17,000 mailers, break that down to a smaller number and send to those same people multiple times.
Okay. Like multiple, like 20 or?
No, I would say quarterly you could send to them, or if your budget.
So like 4 or 5 times a year.
I mean, if your budget allows, of course, monthly would be the best, but
monthly?
But that's a lot of money, and I recognize that for people. Yeah. But with anything, when you're asked to invest when it comes to marketing, look on your return on investment. It is there statistically, and that's one case study that we read you from postcardmania.com. They had many. They were all real because you could actually go click on these people's websites and see that they do exist, which I thought was
because really, I didn't think that they did at first when she was showing me this. And I was like, can we change their names? And she's like, they're real. You can't just change people's names. And I didn't realize they were real people. So sorry.
Sure.
Sorry, Beth and Beth.
Yeah, sorry, Beth and Beth, but y'all nailed it. Good job, ladies. So you've decided your area you're going to farm. You're going to go with Postcard Mania. Let's say that's the key here, or that's what you're going to do. You're going to define your audience for Postcard Mailer, and you might want to tell them, hey, I want to farm an area with homes in this, or people who make a certain amount of money, a certain demographic, live in a certain area. You're going to try to define your audience very clearly based on the things we said above. Can you really interact in those communities? Are you already ingrained in those areas?
Yeah, and one way to look at it, too, is looking at the listings you already have and the type of audience that could afford or would want to live in those listings. If you have a bunch of, single-family homes with a bunch of bedrooms, maybe don't target the single couples with no children. You could kind of you can think about your audience that way, too, if you're not sure where to start.
Completely. I agree with that 100%. After you define your audience, you're going to design a postcard, and you want to inform and educate them. Do not cover too much information when it comes to putting this on the postcard. A thing we see often, or we hear often, is people try to put their entire website on one postcard.
Right. Like we said, you're not just sending out one mailer. You want to kind of you'll send out a few. You can have more information on each card. You don't want to overwhelm them, and then they don't even read the card because it's just too much. So
prime them each time with what you do and what you offer. Keep it clear and precise, and open space is your best friend. This has been hard for me to learn in my journey of just business ownership and entrepreneurship. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm spending $5,000. I need to give them all the information in the world.
All the pictures, all the graphics, all the sparkles and pizzazz. And
that's
whatever.
counterproductive to the max.
Right.
Very simple. You want to use a high quality photo of yourself. If you have professional photos, that is the way to go. I know iPhones have come a long ways. If you have the option to add a professional photo, please do that.
Yeah, with as little like background and like...
Yeah, you don't want it noisy. A singular call to action is also very important. And
so like define singular call to action. Book with me, contact me, tell them to do something, boss them around a little bit, but give them one thing to do.
Right. We're not asking them to go to your website, slide into your DMs, call you, text you, email you.
Tag 3 friends.
Tag 3 friends. Yeah. We're not going to ask them to do all that. We're going to be very specific with what we want them to do. And it can be any of those things. It will probably take some beta testing. If you see results, you're going to reinvest more money in it. And so I hope you do see those results so you can try different things that will bring
but
you
definitely
income.
keep it simple, you know.
Keep it simple for sure.
Minimalism is in.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They want to see the white space on the postcard. There needs to be a little space.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our spiel, if you will, on physical mailers. There is a place for them. They are expensive. So, I mean, do with that information what you want.
Don't do it willy-nilly, but they are they can be worth the investment for sure. Just make sure, don't just
But you need to make sure this is a long-term financial investment. So, all right, let's move into my best friend, which is email marketing. Email marketing is obviously incredible. We gave you the stats.
Obviously incredible.
Huh?
I just find that you call it obviously incredible because you're just such a big fan of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. And the biggest thing when it comes to email marketing is not your emails themselves. It's not what company you use to send out the emails. It is your email list. Now, I want to tell a story. I was like, oh, should I share this story? Do I sound really bad? But we try to be really transparent, so I'm going to just share it with you. I owned a brick and mortar location, and I had 6,000 people on my email list when I sold the brick and mortar location. As part of me selling the business, I negotiated that I got to keep my email list. That was really important to me. So shortly after my brick and mortar, I opened up a marketing business that had nothing to do with my other business. I started emailing those 6,000 people. My open rate was terrible. They wanted information from my brick and mortar store, not what I was doing now.
They jumped ship on you.
They jumped ship. They were not opening. They were unsubscribing. They told me everything I needed to know.
Deuces.
Yeah, peace out. So I made the wise decision and just deleted them all and started with 5 emails. That was incredibly humbling and painful because I had taken so much time to grow that other list. But what I recognize is that a warm list will buy from you. Because like Nina said, I get so mad at emails. I don't want all those emails. I'm like, you get mad at them until it's something of value for you. And we were talking about when you were job searching.
Right, yeah. I would get sent these emails that would be like, there's a job for you in your area. And I'd be like, oh, it's for me. And I'd click on it. It would just be like my search results that I'd searched on that website the day before. But it would, because it
spoke to you.
It spoke to me and I was checking them.
You were a warm audience.
I was,
they had pre-qualified you as a warm audience. Therefore, that's why a list is so important. And there's so many ways to grow a list. It is a long game, but you should start today if you have no list. Even if you start with 10 people, 10 warm leads is better than 100 random people that you have from a previous job or some previous experience.
Right. And I feel like an email list is a little bit different from like building an Instagram following or maybe having a MySpace friend, because email, like we said, it's been around since 1991. I've still got that Hotmail account. So your email list will still be there for, you're not going to have to worry about email going away.
Right. Yeah. We're seeing
or losing popularity in email. People are probably still going to hang on to that email address for
a long time. So invest in building your list. There's some pretty easy ways that you can build a list, and there's some ways I would recommend do not build your list. One way that we've seen success this past year in growing our email list was quizzes specifically for our ideal client. So I did a quiz a few months ago based on for real estate agents. Those are my ideal clients. Those are the people I want on my email list. I don't want Joe Schmo down the road taking my quiz. I mean, he might have, or she might have.
Unless he sells real estate, we don't want Joe Schmo there.
Right. I just love a clean list, and because of that, I have nearly a 70% open rate. And it's because I've done all these things on just making sure I qualify my audience before I get them on the list. So a quiz is a great way. There's so many programs out there that you can use to make quizzes. I used one, and I'll tag it here in the bottom of the show notes, but I think I'll butcher the name if I say it.
And quizzes are fun too.
Yeah, people love them. The next is to prime your audience. So that's a lot of what you do on Instagram and Facebook when you share informative knowledge and education, or you're funny. You're priming your audience. You're getting them to say, man, I like her. I want more of her. And then a lot of times they will give your email. You're not going to oftentimes just get people that go to your website and are like, oh, let me give her my email address. Many, many times they want to go ahead and build a connection with you. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing they're going to want is something from you to give you that email address.
Yeah, a little tip for tat.
Most commonly, you will hear people offer freebies, opt-ins, lead magnets is what they call them. Okay. So you give them something in exchange for that email address. For us, we do you want to speak in that one, Nina, on the things that we kind of offer for email addresses, like the templates?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, like the like downloadable templates, and we have like our client list that you can like download and fill in.
Right. We offered earlier this year 100 ways to lead generate.
Yeah.
And we asked for your email address.
And we would email you the whole list, which I know we've mentioned a few of them, like we've talked about on the podcast, but the whole list of 100, which had a lot of good ones, we would only get it if you would email it, or we would email it to you.
Right. And so we asked for your email in exchange for that. Yet again, the email would be very specific to our specific audience. So we always make our content that we share in exchange for email address ultra specific. It's never wide. We rather go deep and narrow than wide and shallow. Right.
And what's good about email marketing is that you can create different filters. If you, as you're making that list, if you can keep them grouped or segmented just based on different characteristics of them, then you can send out more targeted emails. So if you have people that you know are probably want to sell, then you could send them emails about selling houses, not about
right. Maybe you create a seller's guide, and you say, hey, I've created the top 25 ways to declutter your house and organize to be preparing for selling. Yeah. Right then, anyone who gives you their email address, they tells you they're a seller. Segment them early on. That is the one thing I didn't do in my brick and mortar business. All 5,000 or 6,000 went into one email blob, and dang, I did it myself a disservice. So as you build the list, segment from day one. Yes, Nina, that is everything. So the thing I would caution against on building your email list is giveaways.
Right. Yeah.
Because
I'll giveaway of a downloadable thing that is relates to your audience is different from I'll give you a free bag of Sephora goodies, or I'll give you a free gift card.
$25 gift card to Starbucks. So everyone and their brother is going to sign up for that, and there waters down your email list. Do not use a giveaway of that type of where it's very broad. Now, let's say you want to do a giveaway that pertains to your audience. Trying to think of something we could use. Like, let's say your target audience is teachers. So you're going to give away school supplies in a giveaway. Mainly teachers would sign up for that, and that would be okay. But do not do a $25 Starbucks gift card where everyone and their brother is going to want to do that, because then you water down your list. So like I said, you want to go deep and narrow, never broad and shallow when it comes to building your list. So once you've got your list, and like Nina's spoken to, segmenting it to make sure that you can optimize your emails, that is key. Then you're going to start with your email campaign type. Email campaigns work best if they are automated, because that way they flow and you won't forget. The first, obviously, part of your email campaign would be that welcome email with the including the free thing you promised.
Whatever you did to hook them, you got to include it,
Right. So immediately
string them along.
And you're probably like, oh, I've never done email marketing. What does that look like? Do I have to log on my computer and send them this?
It's actually super hard, and you'll never be able to do it yourself.
Yeah, you'll need us all. Totally key.
It's super simple. It's we teach it in a class, and I think we cover it for maybe 5 minutes, not even, and then obviously people have questions and stuff, but like us actually explaining how to do it, that I think we have a video, and we can attach the link to the video, but the video is not even that long.
The video is, I think, like right at 4 minutes. So we teach the technical component, like what does the back end look like in a class. And in our last class, someone in there that afternoon set up an email automation. So they literally took the class at 11, And by 10 o'clock or by 6 o'clock that evening, they had an email automation set up. So what you're going to do is go in and spend about 4 or 5 hours, or maybe even a full day one day if you're not busy, and you're going to write out all these emails. Your welcome email with attaching your freebie.
Yeah, and if you're worried about writing out these emails, listen to our podcast on ChatGPT, because it can give you that framework to kind of figure out what to kind of put in each one, and then you can re-edit it into your voice. So if you're intimidated about having to write out all these emails and you just don't think that you have the capabilities of that, there are tools to help you. There's great, like you can listen to our whole podcast on ChatGPT and get some more tips for it on like writing and stuff like that, but there's plenty of resources to help you get those emails written.
For sure. And then once you decide you've written your welcome email, so that's your first campaign, then I want you to send out anywhere from 4 to 5 emails on offering value. You're going to give more than you take. People gave you their email address, that coveted sacred email that they just love so much. They gave that to you and they entrusted it with you. Like people are crazy about their email and their email address. So now I want you to go and nurture that. I want you to give them something of value. Don't rework the wheel. Go back through your Instagram, back through your Facebook, look up other things of value you've already created, rework that in email format, and you're going to set up an automated campaign that goes out at the same time every week. Consistency is key. And I want to give you a quick story about this because I know we're going long today already. I had a lady, she got my email address. She was a real estate agent. And every single Monday for 3 years, I got an email from this lady. 3 years I got one. And it became like, I just looked forward to it because it was so consistent. It was one of the few consistent things in my life. So every Monday I would have like my coffee. I'm like, in my mind, I wasn't making a joke, but it was like kind of comical because I'd be like, all right, got my coffee. Let me open up my email and get my email from her. Right, I know her name. I know where she works. I've never met this lady. I know so much about her because I've received an email every single Monday morning for 3 years from her. Her consistency is incredible. And I guarantee you she's taken those emails and repurposing them into Instagram and Facebook posts. She's not reworking the wheel. She's not trying to create 20 different pieces of content every week. A lot of times she had series, so she would have market conditions where every third Monday you would get a market update. All she did was go into the MLS, copy and paste the stats, put it in an email, and send it out. Yeah. She didn't spend more than 5 minutes on that, but it was every third Monday I got that. I really remember this campaign because it was entwined in my life for 3 years. But so the next thing is, like we said, be very, very consistent in your email campaigns. And don't be afraid to sell after a while, but it should not be overly salesy.
Right, especially now because a lot of email providers are have those filters for the ones that are like your important list and then your kind of spammy junk mail. Yeah. You don't want to end up going to the spammy junk mail because if it seems like it's just like a push to sell, if they're not ready to sell, they might do the whole, I'll scroll and look at it later. And if you don't get open, you might end up getting kind of filtered into that other category, and you want to be in that open category. You want to be the one that they're like, oh, well, let's see what they have to say today. Because even if it doesn't pertain to them every single day, if you're giving them value every day, they're more likely to open it.
Right. They want that value, and it's
even
okay.
If it's just an interesting read,
Right. And it is okay when people unsubscribe. That is a blessing to you. You're not spending time, energy, and effort to speaking to someone that does not want to hear your message. I take pride in that 70% open rate, and I'm like, please, if you do not like my emails, just unsubscribe, because it's almost like not a game in my mind, but I work really hard to achieve that high number. I try to offer value. I qualify my list before they're added. I have so much in place. So when I go to ask them to buy something, which we are in about 3 weeks, we're coming for you. We've been nurturing you for a while if you're on our email list. But you know what? I've shown up. I've given them value. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. And now I'm going to kindly slide into the email in about 3 weeks. Ask them, do they want to join our dashboard for $14.95 a month? Do you like that shameless plug I just added in?
That was really smooth. It's like you've been doing it your whole life.
I know, just slid it right in there. But I will be trying to sell in my email in a few weeks. And I'm not going to make any apologies for it because I know I've given great value over time in an authentic way.
Right.
So we'll finish up with this. These are our most common questions we're asked when it comes to email marketing. And the first one is, how often should I do it?
And I feel like that's kind of subjective a little bit. It's definitely personal to your audience, you kind of gotta know your audience for that one a little bit. What's your opinion on that stuff?
Beta test, try it out. I think Personally, weekly is enough. Bi-weekly is fine. And if you can only do monthly, that's great too. But whatever it is, be consistent. So the girl that was in my inbox every Monday, and then every third Monday I got market conditions, she was just ultra consistent. She could have emailed me every other Monday and I would have still been okay.
Yeah.
Because the consistency is what won me over in her, not so much how many times she was sending. It was just consistent.
Right.
So if your time is once a month, do it the third Thursday of every month. And with email automation programs, and everyone, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Kajabi, MailerLite, they all have automations set up. So you can do that for the third Thursday of every month.
Right, yeah. You don't have to worry about, like, I don't know, something coming up and not getting to the email. You can get it all set up to where you don't have to think about it.
Yes. The next thing is we are often asked is, what should I include in my emails? Precise information that either entertains, or informs people of something. You want to offer value, and you want to keep it nice and neat, and you want to make it so they can read it on mobile devices. Most people read their emails on mobile devices.
Yeah. You're scrolling your phone, checking your emails. And a lot of people get the alerts to their phones. So if they're excited to read your email, then hopefully they'll get it as soon as they get that alert on your phone.
Right. The next question we're asked is, how long should it be? How long should your email be?
About a 2-minute read, right?
Yeah. I feel 2 minutes is good enough. Get your point across. You're going to send them another email next week or 2 weeks later. Yet again, it's like the actual mailers. Do not try to fit your entire website on an email. You just, and that's why campaigns are great. Because if you say, okay, I'm going to set up a campaign where I'm only going to try to attract buyers. Yeah. That campaign is going to speak into that person in a very nice, fluid way. And you're not going to feel the need to put every single thing in your life on that one email.
Right. And also, too, like, don't feel, like, weird about, having a short little snippet paragraph and saying, if you want to know more about this, go to my website or go to my page. Call me.
Slide in my DMs, baby.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You can always say, like, if you want to know more, I know more, you contact me here. You don't have to put it all there on the email.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that. That's going to bore people. And how to handle video with an email.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do videos right now. I do not think we'll be saying that in 6 months to a year. I think we're going to come back and tell you to upload the videos. Right now, just link your videos. It bogs them down. It makes them heavy depending on the person receiving them. We don't know their Wi-Fi connection, their server capabilities.
Right. And what were you talking about? Your friend, she tried to add video to her email, and it took her like 6 hours just to upload it to the email provider to get sent out.
Yeah, don't do it right now. That is not going to be the case for long.
Right. We're in the age of video, so we're not anti-video by any means, but in your emails, just link them. There's ways around it, but just link them.
For sure. And the next one I'm often asked is, what email provider should I use? Whatever one that makes sense for your budget. Honestly, we have used a lot of them. I'm embarrassed to say how many times we moved around.
We've gone through different stages. We've pivoted, and they all kind of have different little features and little nuanced things about it, and different plans. So as you just kind of do a little bit of research and see which one works best for you.
So they're easy to move. That's the thing. So whenever you leave one email provider to go to the next, you download a CSV file with all your contacts. Let's say you leave one, you go to the next, you just upload the CSV file there. It is very easy to move. You're not married there for life. Obviously, we've moved around a lot. We are with MailerLite right now, and I'm the happiest I've ever been.
And then your email address stays consistent, correct?
Right. Our emails always show that they come from social@socialsoutherncreative.com.
Yeah, it's not like when you change a provider, you have to start sending people emails from a new email address. It'll be the same address that they're receiving it from.
For sure. And, ask them questions. Ask what percentage of the emails from that email provider go to spam. That's a very good question, because I had an email provider who I'm not going to say because I don't want to bash companies before this one, and every single email went to spam. So I was like, what am I doing? I'm paying top dollar. It was the most expensive program we had ever paid for.
But if you ask us who it is, we'll tell you.
Yeah,
just slide in our DMs. We won't let you get...
we won't let you get twisted out there. But I have had good luck with... MailerLite, obviously that's who we have. I've had good luck with Constant Contact, MailChimp. So I've had good luck with all those. It's just the last one kind of was like, ugh. It actually made me not want to do email marketing, but
No, we didn't.
I know. I love
No, we
email
didn't.
marketing. I love it. I love it. That's why I was like, we got to move because this is my passion. It's my bread and butter.
No, normally we meet an hour before our podcast. She had me meet her an hour and a half earlier today.
Because I was like, I love email marketing. We got to tell them everything.
She's just stoked.
Yes, do it. It is troubling. It doesn't have the clout and sexiness probably that Instagram can give you. People are like,
But it has that longevity.
it has massive longevity. You own it. You control it. Remember last year when Instagram went down for like 28 hours and people lost their marbles?
Yeah, they did.
People were still getting emails though.
Yeah.
You're not in the control of Mark Zuckerberg with emails. You can write what you want in them. I mean, keep it classy, people.
Right.
There's no algorithm changes.
Right, yeah. You can be the boss of it and you can kind of steer your own ship.
And with nothing else, I don't care what website you look at. Bring me one that says differently. No matter what study you read, it has the highest return of investment of any form of marketing. So it's mind-blowing that people don't do it. It's just we're so caught up on the likes and the follows of Instagram.
Well,
I think
it's also kind of intimidating too. But if you those email automated sendings, the MailChimp and all of those things, those are they're pretty easy to use systems.
Oh, so user friendly. I'm going to put up a video. I'll link it here on the podcast and on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. That will show you a 3 to 4 minute tutorial on MailerLite. This was a video we filmed for a class, so it's going to be specific to their class, but that's okay. It doesn't say anything like pertinent or private information, but
yeah, because sending these automated emails and stuff, it's not a big task to do. Just because these big companies do it, you can do it too.
oh gosh, yes, you can do it. This is one area of the game that it's a level playing field. Doesn't matter if your budget is $100 a month or $3,000 a month. The playing field is level if your messaging is good, it's clear and concise, it's optimized for mobile, and you have a warm list.
Because about what is the pricing for those email things?
Oh
if
gosh.
you had to give a range.
If I had to give a range, they can start as low as $9 a month. Now there's some that are free for the first 200 subscribers you add to your list, but around $9 a month to probably $49 a month.
Yeah, so if you compare that to how you spend your other marketing dollars, it's a pretty good return on it.
It's a few trips to Starbucks to literally change your business, especially if you're in real estate. You sell one house and you pay for email marketing, and let's say someone decides that day, you know what, I've been thinking about buying a house, or I've been thinking about selling. I've been thinking about for 6 months. Your email comes through their inbox that day. They pick up the phone and call you. That one house can pay for 3 and 4 and 5 years.
Right.
Plus, you nurture your audience. You keep them in touch. There's so much it does for you, but I think that's it in a nutshell. We're a big fan. I'll be very, very transparent. We haven't done the mailers and the flyers. All we can give you is case studies, but it's definitely something we will add into our business as we grow and our budget grows.
Absolutely.
So that's it, Nina. Let's tell them about something really quick, because I know this is really long, and I knew it would because I love email marketing, super passionate about it. But Nina and I had the opportunity. I'll let Nina tell you because she found it.
Yeah, so we went and had, because we like to meet at some at coffee shops to work, and I was looking up some local coffee shops in between our two houses, and we ended up at Biddy and Bo's coffee shop. Mm-hmm. And I never really heard of the concept before that. I was a newbie, but they hire only employees with special abilities to work there. So you can go and get your coffee, and it's in San Marco. Yeah. They have coffee and little pastries, because that's the only location here in Jacksonville, but they have other locations in the United States. They're franchised, and we just got a new one that opened in Jacksonville, and we had the best time.
Oh my gosh, nice. You have to go. So they hire they have over 400 employees as a franchise collectively within the United States.
I think there's 16 locations.
Yeah, and they started from a sweet story. I believe the family's from North Carolina, and they had 2 children born with Down syndrome, and they wanted opportunities for them to be able to work. And y'all, go to their Instagram page, Biddy and Bo's Coffee, and scroll back to around November, and I've shared it on our page today, of the video where they went and hired the employees. They told the employees that they got the job. I cried so hard watching it. It was literally pure joy.
They're as coming home videos. They're so fun. They're just great. They're a good binge watch.
I watched it again this morning and cried again. It's amazing. The lady who owns it here in Jacksonville, her name was Lissy, and we only got to interact with her for a few moments the other day when we were there.
She was working. We were working, but she was so pleasant, so kind. Everyone there was just so positive and
and we're never going to down another business to lift up this business, but if you can, instead of strolling through Starbucks, which is a major corporation, we're not downing them, I promise, stroll through there, especially in San Marco. You know, if you're coming through Jacksonville, swing in there. It is the joy you will get from walking through the door is I would have paid triple the cost of the coffee because
just for the
joy.
ambiance, you know, like you can just feel like the happiness in the room.
I know,
because it's not like a huge space, but there's quite a few like tables to sit and
plug-ins.
There's the bar they had a really nice like bar that you could sit at the bar top and like work. There was a lot like because we sat there for a good couple hours and there was other people that sat there and worked. You can definitely tell they have some regular customers. So
they were calling them by name.
Yeah,
so.
and I think they've only been open. Was it August or November? November. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So we really wanted to take a moment to speak into their organization, their company today. It was incredible. We put up an Instagram story every Friday. You know, we highlight different businesses, organizations, or events within Jacksonville or the North Florida area. So go on our Instagram, check them out. They're tagged in there multiple times. But their page will bring you so much joy, too.
Oh, I know. They're just a good follow, even if you're not a coffee drinker. Well, they had tea, too. You had tea.
I had tea. I had the raspberry or hibiscus tea. So.
Ooh, and we had bagels. Yeah, the food was good. Snacks were good. It was great.
Yeah, the employees were wonderful. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions, email marketing is so much bigger and broader than what we've shared today. One last plug. We will be having a dashboard that will be available soon. You can join. It's for monthly, and we will have all these emails written out for you. So you'll have email campaigns included in there. One of the cool things that will be in our dashboard, though, is we will have tough emails written for you.
Right. So those anxiety-inducing emails that you're like, oh, geez.
I've got to send this email.
I need backup for this one. Where's the backup?
Yeah, I've got to send this email because someone canceled on a contract. How do I send that to my seller? Yeah. We're going to have the text messages included in there, the emails. There'll be templates. There'll be educational training videos. Everything you can imagine will be in this dashboard. It'll only be $14.95 a month. Anyway, that's kind of our, for now. Mm-hmm. And that's not bro marketing you. It's just as the dashboard grows.
Obviously, as we add more content, it'll be more valuable. And
we'll have to charge you more. So get in early so you can get locked into that price. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend.